Okay, so I don't know what I'm talking about today. So, I mean, I know a couple of things, but I feel like my brain is like popcorn or something. The energy is like crazy too. I can't believe it. Like, it makes you just irritable. Like, everything just is like irritating. Like, well, I don't know. It is kind of irritating to get woke up every hour and a half or 2 hours. Like, I went to sleep. So I went to bed. Like, I don't know. I go to bed so early, I swear. Well, I don't go to bed. Well, sometimes I do, but a lot of times I just lay on the couch and I put on this 6 hertz theta wave. I swear to God, it is the deeper, heavier waves like that just put my brain out in 2 seconds. The higher pitched ones, the ones that get really high pitched and kind of squeaky and stuff, they kind of irritate me. Like this one right here, these ones I can do in the day. I don't know if you can hear it. I always think the stuff on here, you can hear it way louder. This is 528. It might be 432. I saw there's this whole thing going around about 432. And somebody went in and so they went to do a study on it or something. And they said that 432 is a good one for us. It's better than 440, even though a bunch of people are saying 440 is better. 432 was a little bit better. And I don't even know what all he was studying. I'm no expert on all this shit. I just listen to my own body. When I put on the different ones, I pay attention to what they are. And then the different, because it can also be the different people's channel, like their channel. Like somebody can have a 528 and somebody else have a 528 and totally sound different. So you gotta just, you gotta find the ones that are good for you, that work for you, that you put them on and they find peace. Or you can put on ones and they do a lot of body healing and I'll feel stuff inside my body. The ones though for going to sleep, I like the there was some delta ones, but it seems like I always like the theta ones in the low. I think there's something about between 4 and 7 theta that is really good at your body, does a lot of healing or something. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not the expert. I'll just see different things about them and then I'll be listening to them. But I definitely have found this 6 hertz theta one, and I swear to God, it'll just like I'll put it on, and because usually in the evening, still like I just have like a routine. It depends, because sometimes I can't find anything to watch, and I'll just listen to music. Sometimes, lately, I've even just not even turned my TV on at all, just left it off. But so I'll put on this kind, where there's still light and stuff, but the dark screen ones are the ones I leave on all night. So I'll put on that one to lay down and relax. And then usually I'm so out. And just like last night, I stayed on the couch all night. I never, it is weird. It's like it like melts your mind or something. I don't know how to explain it. But I totally caught them because I know that they're doing this in certain channels too. This is another thing you got to watch out for. But they'll come on and they'll do a quick commercial in the middle of your brain being in that kind of state. And it is like subliminal programming, I think. I think that they're putting it in there. The one I was awake because Stella wanted out. I'm going to have to go and get some more cottage cheese or something. I don't know what's going on. I have no idea what. It's just got to be something environmental. Like she's not on the same chicken. She's not on the same jar of medicine. So I don't even know. It's just this whole thing is just so draining, Just so draining. Trying to have conversations with people is so draining. Being in this weird reality that nobody else can see is so, God, it's so exhausting. There was a couple of things off the news things I wanted to say, and then I guess, I could talk about that. I forgot yesterday. I was thinking, oh yeah, I gotta talk about that. But I guess they already have a plan what it was, because I have no idea. So, One of the things, though, that Tim Ballard thing, it's gotten worse and worse. Fuck, see, I swear, you got to figure out how you're reading things. You can't just go by what other people say. You have to figure out, like, yeah, you know, I just knew with Trump that I just knew. I've seen him, now that I've watched him, I've seen him be around people he likes. And he is so sweet and so endearing. And the way he was around that guy, in some of the faces he made, and some like almost like hand signals, like he was just disgusted. Like he wanted to just reach across that table and drag that guy over and just start plummeting his face. That's the vibe I was picking up on when it showed that interview. I was not, and I can't believe how many people argued with me about it and said, oh no, he's acting like that because blah, 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 and all this stuff. I was like, do you watch him very much? Do you watch him? Like, because ever since I started watching him, like I don't watch all of the stuff this year. 2020, I watched a lot of him because he was on all the time. He was definitely laying his script out. He was telling us his story. He was giving us the lowdown. Like it was all being laid out for us. It was clear. It was clear. But, you know, it was only for some of us. That story was a storyline for some of us. It wasn't for everybody. You know, there's been a bunch of these storylines, you know, and it's hard, man. Fuck. Hold on, I gotta, and this weirdness, man, I know I say it all the time, but god damn, it's fucking weird. Just like yesterday, we go out to go for a walk, and I'm always looking both ways. Okay, nobody's coming. It's safe. Let's go. And it's still just pouring and pouring. It has been pouring and pouring. Every time she's gone out all fucking night long, it's been pouring and pouring. I have to dry her off. And she goes out and just wanders around or something. I don't know what the fuck is going on. She'll stay out there in the rain for a long while. But so we go out of the driveway, and it was like a sudden convergence of like all these people. It was wacky. Like the one neighbor over there, he's trying to start something. And then the other neighbor, I don't know, he's coming out. The other neighbor's over here working on his roof. Some other people are coming out with their dog. This, it just all of a sudden was utter chaos. Then this guy gets his thing started. He comes out on some little crazy car thing. And then he always, and I swear to God, I mean, this is always so hard because there's so many things. I would talk so much more openly if I didn't have a strong inclination that there's going to be a lot more, some things can get back to people and they're going to take it in a different way than it's intended. Like I've thought about this so much and how my story, my perspective, which is, oh man, this fuck, it will get me super emotional. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, we'll just see. Let's talk about Tim some more second. Like, oh God, that just was intense. That little fucking, okay, so, Ballard now, he has gotten, a video and stuff has come out, but I swear I saw it. That's what I was saying. Not only was it Trump's attitude towards him, but it was, I saw video of him like kissing little, it was disgusting. It was so disgusting, the videos I saw. And I was like, this guy is a perv. And so now it's come out. Yeah, there's a bunch of videos, investigation. He was getting, they were situating him to run for Senate. I'm telling you, I am motherfucking telling you, but I'm telling you the whole goddamn time. Where do they go to find the people that they're going to put in power? I mean, they obviously go to sex shows. I don't know about fucking that dance. I've got people share it all day long with Zelensky doing that fucking dance. And I saw another old man putting on a skivvies or whatever those little tiny swimming suit things are, which I had an uncle from Australia who wore one of those when I was a little kid. He always had that fucking thing on everywhere we go. And he was very hugely endowed. And it was just like, as a little kid, it was really disgusting. But he walked around like he was king shit. And I just saw this old man dancing in one of those. And it looked so Zelensky-ish. It's just like, oh God, it was so disgusting. It looked like he had I don't even want to describe it. It was just gross. And I swear to God, is like TikTok is turning into a giant commercial, and then a bunch of people. I mean, there is some good stuff, but there is a lot of people who dance. I mean, there is girls who think they're super spiritual and all this stuff, just going out dancing around their underwear in their swimming suits and lip syncing and stuff. It's like, what? And they're the chosen. The chosen have, and it's like, what were you chosen for? Were you chosen to do anything good with humanity? Were you chosen to go out and speak, to try and help people understand? Or were you chosen to sit and judge others and to sit up on your throne and only look at the things you want to see? Don't look at the things that are going on in the world. It's like, it's wacky, man. It's so wacky. But, that's another thing where people have to see for themselves. They have to look at this stuff and see. Like this spirituality thing that they got going for this 3D spirituality is whacked, man. It's wacky. But the people in charge, I swear to God, they go to prisons and, porn places to find people to put into their, now they're, Marina Abramovic is going to become, in charge of some country or something. Like they just move these people around and put them in positions and shit. And all these girls don't want to get famous on TikTok for shaking their ass. It's like, well, if the government was still going well, they'd probably already have recruited you. You'd be Secretary of State or something. Like, it's wacky. And but since they're falling apart, and this is just kind of exposing the people that followed a certain dialogue. It was like followed a certain path, went a certain direction. But that's something they got to see for themselves. It's not about us judging them, about going, oh my God, can you believe it? You're so stupid. And you did that. It's not about that. That you don't shame somebody, you don't judge somebody like that. It's about them. See, they got to see. They got to see for themselves. It's like the feeling on the inside. It's the inside impact, an internal impact that happens. And that is the healing bombs, healing missiles that come in, and it's very independent. It's your own unique thing, even though there's a lot of people. But, like you take like the OnlyFans thing, say, and you got all these girls that are, trying to be progressive and trying to come to terms with their body by sharing it with the world and having, some people say they hate it and some people say they love it. It's just like the whole thing is very, emotional roller coaster for one thing. Like, and then why would you subject yourself to that? Like, who cares? Some fucking stranger, and who wants some fucking strange perving on you? Like, yeah, and that's an energy attachment, by the way. So, hold on. So, because this was something I just got shown the other day too. Is like, I was talking to this new neighbor, and he's doing his yard. He's tearing up he's redoing his whole place. And so I said that the neighbor next to me is a excavator, and he will do a side job, because this guy was saying when he had called the company out, because of course the companies don't pay fucking, we got to start going to individuals, asking people if they want side jobs. We got to quit hiring these corporate entities that are paying, all these people who aren't doing the work we just got to change things. We got to change how we do things. So, so I had told him his name, and then I had texted the other, the neighbor's he's working out of town. So I texted his wife and told her. And doing that, it was like they showed me, it was like, then I brought those two energies together. Because they, even if they don't know each other, their energies is like a sensor. It's like a seeker. It's like you connect. And so, if you're out there on OnlyFans or something, you got all these people connecting to you. There's one that just is a big thing happening right now is this little girl was in this video, and I don't know, it seems like her parents did a bunch of videos and then had their kids or something, but then they were always monitoring it. They thought they were doing so good, policing it or whatever, and their little girl was in this video. She was like 8 years old, I think. And so some guy across the country started messaging, and he was getting so wacky they had to take down the whole thing. So they took it down. Well, he has showed up. He figured out where they lived, figured out the neighborhood. He showed up there. It's been 5 years. And the little girl's like 12 years old now. And he was coming. He loves her. He's already been confronted by the police. There's the video footage and stuff. He was coming, he loves this little girl. He fell in love with her when she was 8 years old. And so he came from, I think it's like California to Ohio or something, and had been living out like in the street, sleeping in bushes and stuff, and then in the daytime walking around looking for her. And it's even crazy is that the doorbell where he got busted in the doorbell camera thing, he was on their porch. He was at their house. So but there's an energetic connection. Even when you, like, about this Tinder stuff, like, these people are getting these people's energy on them. Like, it's not you just go and do it with a stranger. You're carrying that stranger's problems with you now. And then the girls, if there's a whole thing about the DNA, if it gets inside of you, then there's a whole attachment thing that goes on too. Like, there's all sorts of weird shit that we need to know more about because we're not living in a body positivity kind of way. We're doing things that aren't good for us all the time. And okay, so let me think back what I was saying. Yeah, they go in and they find, Zelensky, all these people, fucking Ballard, just straight up criminal. Hey, you're a sex offender. Well, you're perfect. We want you to go out and save all the traffic kids. So I guess apparently all the people that were involved in that movie are all involved in it. And I still, like, I don't know what the Jim Caviezel thing, fuck, if he is, there's lots of pictures with him with weird people, that's for sure. So whatever, all these different ones are all going to keep being exposed. And there is some big things happening too, like big arrests, like Senate in Arizona, Senator, I can't think of her name, I'm pretty sure it was like Kim or something, got arrested, RICO, treason, all that kind of stuff. There was a lot of charges. And that is a good sign. There's a lot of that going on. But then, when it's going to be more and more, there's to me, it seems like there's just so many headlines that are telling the truth. Like it is like a firework finale or something where it's just all popping off, but we still have the grand finale. But it's like the show has begun, everything is popping off. And it is just, it's so weird is, how people just don't understand what this place is and what they're doing here and stuff. And, I just saw this video and he was talking about, we're all free range chickens. Nobody ever had the right to tell us, where we can go and charge us licenses, all the stuff that I was saying. There's lots of people who are all, starting to say all the same stuff. And so he was saying about, that we have no freedom. And there was something else I wanted to say off of that. I don't know. I can't remember. It seemed like there was a couple of other things, but anyways, I guess I'm shifting over to this other thing. Oh yeah, okay. Yesterday I was having a rough day. Man, it was rough. It was just I don't know, like is it overthinking or something or processing? But there was a lot of stuff that was being said to me. And so I was having a lot of stuff I was processing. And one of the things that like started it, let's see, there was a couple of things. Is one of the things was that my one daughter, because I didn't go to the memorial, so she got to go to the memorial and all that stuff. And so I guess, their sisters all went to her house and they were all together. And so I don't know, apparently, she was crying because she was left out at Christmas. Well, I haven't got to go to Christmas in a couple years. I mean, that has nothing to do with me. So they're trying to figure out how to split Christmas and stuff now, because she doesn't want to be near me. And this was another thing I was told too was, she had something with the EMDR or something because she goes to Western medicine psychologist. So she went in and had somewhat EMDR thing, which I think those are really effective. I think those are really good. I think they are help change your brain. The same thing as like them putting these commercials in when they have your brain in a certain brainwave. So I think those are good, for healing. But I'm sure it all depends on what information, how you're processing and stuff. So, anyways, I was thinking about, who's training them and what doctrine are they being trained on and stuff. Like, they could be doing more damage on purpose, because that's what it's all about. And so then, so my daughter, one of the daughters asked her, so after you get done with all this, then are you planning on never talking to mom again? Are you going to try and start, working on that relationship? And she said, no, I'm never going to speak to her again. I don't want anything to do with her. I hate her. She doesn't want to say anything, nothing to do with me ever again. And, to me, it's like, that doesn't get me, I was also a young, angry girl at different points of my life. And I thought, I don't know if I ever thought like I would never speak to my mom again, but I definitely looked at her through a certain lens. And, but I think I always talked to her. I don't think I ever cut her out, but I always just kind of looked at her as the enemy or something. Like, she never really loved me. She was always out to get me. I was just a burden to her, And now I've just come to the thing of, I was like, it wasn't her fault. She just, she wasn't equipped. She didn't have, she was a teenager for one thing. And, it was just a part of my experience. It's part of what I came here to experience. And, so I don't, get all upset like, oh my God, she's never going to speak to me again. What am I going to do? I always feel like that, people say that kind of stuff, but it's not, and if she did you really do that, then, why would I want to speak to her again? Like I don't want to fucking talk to somebody who hates me like that and never wants to speak to me. I'm like, okay, you can do that. That's your choice. There's nothing I can do about it. And, but my thing is this whole thing about healing. That's what gets me. And so I had so many things going yesterday through my thing. Because for one thing, I've been here. I don't want to say like I went through my birthdays alone or something, because that's not what I was just trying to do. I could have left and I could have pushed him. Oh, it's my 60th. I got to have a big party. I could have done all that stuff, but that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to let go of that expectation, let go of this hold on we got to celebrate that. Like, I'm letting go of this old paradigms, letting go of these old concepts and ideas. So I don't want to celebrate my birthday. I don't want to celebrate the holidays. I don't want anything to do with them. I don't give a shit about them. So I have been going through that on my own for the last couple of years. And besides, I'm over here and I get snowed in and stuff. I'm not just going to go take off in the snow. Like, I can't even get out of my driveway some of the time. And I'm going to go take off to go drive across the state so I can go participate in some gift exchange or something. It's like, no. And my one daughter, she was like, yeah, but that's my only days off is the holidays. I haven't been there for all these years. Why is this suddenly a conversation? And then they keep acting all sad, and it's like, are they forgetting? Like, I'm so confused. And then another thing, and then when you're thinking about that, then it's like, okay, but I've been here all summer long, and you could have come over so many times and spent a weekend with me, but all of a sudden it's like, well, Christmas, I'm going to have some time off, and I should, prepare myself to drive across the pass to come over for a couple days. It's like, I can't just come over. I can't just be like, okay, well, the 22nd, I'll be there around 5. No, it could be the middle of a fucking snowstorm. Could have to go a week before that and then be trapped over there for a couple weeks. I can't, that's not how you can travel when you live up in the mountains. And, which, by the way, so I looked at the doomsday map. I was studying the fuck out of that thing yesterday. And so what I see is this is going to be a bunch of mountain ranges. Like, so I was really trying to figure it out about the Yakima thing. Because in these conversations, there was conversations and all sorts of stuff, about me coming there. And every time, if I try and say, like, how I do things, which has always worked for my life, and, well, you need to manifest this. Well, that's what I'm doing. No, you got to do it this way. Why? Because the new spiritual people told you? Is this a practice that you do? Because this is something I've been practicing my whole life, and I think I know how to do it. It's like, ugh. I just want to fucking blow my goddamn brain. It's like my crown chakra's already open. It's already shooting shit out. It's just like, oh my God. What? And then it's like, okay, so what am I supposed to be learning? I'm supposed to be learning. Not everybody's going to see you. Not everybody's going to see you for who you are. No, you got to just relax. Don't worry about it. It's like, it's processing. It's like, and you keep going over it. And then, but the healing thing to me is, and I said this because I had several conversations, and it was the whole stuff being brought up about Christmas. There was a bunch of different things. Because I was on a Facebook thing, or no, FaceTime 3-way, and then I was on and then some other FaceTime with just one person. So I had a bunch of conversations throughout the day. And in the one where there was 2 daughters in me, then both of them had to leave the conversation. They just had to leave. It's always how it goes with me. If I speak anything, and so then, when I say bring up that kind of stuff, they don't realize how, I think, for most of us moms who are older, who have kids, especially if it's mine is 4 daughters, they're a team. I'm always the odd man out. I've been the odd man out my whole entire life. I mean, it's just the way it was. I've been odd man out my whole life. And so, yeah, I can see it. And yeah, it's not like I think, well, my girls need to, surrender and become different and, to allow me to have support and friends and stuff. I know it doesn't go on them. It's not their problem. It's my problem. I can't put that on them, but there's all this processing always, that you're going through. So, it's this processing, thinking about it and trying to bring balance into the situation in my own mind. Like, I don't have control. I can't, the things I say, it's just constantly, I'm just whacked out. Nobody can see the things I say. Nothing. I feel like I am living in this weird fucking world all by myself. And I'm the only one who speaks my own language. It's just me and my language in my own little fucking world, and everybody else is out there living in this other world. And even if I try and step out the driveway to enter it, it's like, I don't know. It's weird. I know I say weird all the time, but I don't know how else to describe it. Everything is so strange. Like, it just is like more strange too. It's getting more strange. Oh yeah, one of the things I didn't finish saying yesterday too was on the Hawaii thing, like 40% of Lahana was Airbnbs. And the most of the Hawaiian families like would live 30 in a house or something. They would all cram it because they couldn't afford it, for one thing. But the tribe villagers and stuff live different. Like, we're the ones who we come up with it because they tell us, they show us, and they direct us, because we are just a fucking bunch of free range chickens, and we got to wait to be programmed. And then it's frustrating as fuck when you go and you talk to people and you interact with people who are just waiting to be programmed. Fucking just don't listen to anything. Don't fucking, just wait to be programmed. Wait till they tell you. When they tell you, then you can move forward. It's like, God damn. It's like so fucking irritating. And so, but on the thing with the healing, like I've talked about this so much time. You don't just, you have somebody who is hard for you, a hard person. Like, I mean, I'm a hard person for her. Somehow, when she's around me, the darkness, all the darkness starts just feeding her. I mean, she told the girls that I used to call them all fat, and they're all like, what? And they were even like, no, she didn't. Yeah, she would say stuff like, that's empty calories, but I wasn't going, hey, fatty, what are you doing over there? But if a bunch of teenage girls are whining about, oh my God, I can't even fit my jeans. Well, that's empty calories right there, So, shame on me for being me. I wish I could have been somebody different. I wish I could have been the perfect person for each of them and what they needed. But that's not the way it goes. That's not what life's all about. That's not the challenge. The challenges are all these other things. And just like what I've talked about so much, these little things that somebody said to you all this way back, and you turn it into something else. You make it into a monster. I'm the fucking monster under the bed. I don't even know the things. And she has all this stuff to do with their dad, and her dad is super controlling. I mean, I feel like I even told those girls yesterday, I said, I mean, I was trying to point out this whole thing about who I was back then. This person who she thinks was so horrible to her isn't the person who I am now. We're talking about fucking 10 years ago. We're talking about, I guess, 8 to 10 years ago. And all of this stuff that I've gone through, all of this healing, all this stuff, I feel like I'm completely transformed into a completely different person. And so she's just like, she doesn't even know this person. She's holding on to another person. And then she's saying, and I don't want that person in my life ever again. Well, that person doesn't even exist anymore. But you're cutting me out of your life. And I'm a completely different person, but you're not even giving me any opportunity to show that, although you think that you can grow and you can change, but nobody else can. And so, but that is her lesson. That's for her to figure out. I can't get her to see that. I can't say any of the things and get them to see anything. Even if you're sitting there judging your mom all the time, don't sit there and think that you are some supporter of all women. You're a real feminist. You're out there, and you support all people, all autistic people, everyone who's neurodivergent, all that. I support them all, except my mom. She's a real monster. She's a real bitch. Yeah, that one. Yeah, we can get rid of that one. But everybody else in the world, except for maybe your mom. Maybe your mom's not so good either. We'll skip your mom and my mom. Yeah, fuck them. It's like, okay, is that really how we want the world to be? Is that progress? Is that really? And that's what I feel like this Western medicine psychology is teaching them and training them. And my daughter, is a social worker, and her partner is a psychologist. And so, sometimes when I'm saying stuff, you know, it takes me a minute, but then I realize, okay, so we also got the psychologist in the room. Or, you know, I don't know what her degree is, but that's her. She is the counselor to the people in the program of this. It's it's not DCS or D. It's not CPS, but it's a different group that is there to help people who have. It's supposed to be nonprofit, but we know what the we know the deal is. And I've already told her, like, she's told me some of the shit there. I was like, there's gonna be people who are going to go down. This CEO of this nonprofit who gives themselves raises and goes and buys himself expensive things and then can't put money into these other things in the program, but they can put their money into that there's gonna be shit's gonna go down here. It's all gonna go. That's what I keep saying. People think that all these demons and are running the world, they were all out there in Illuminati world. No, they were just right down the street from you. They were all over. The shit coming out on the police, like, fuck. A whistleblower policeman who was trying to say something that the cops were doing, and then he got fired. So they, you know, they get rid of the good ones because they got to keep the other ones. And so there's a whole thing. I mean, they kill people on purpose. It's part of their gang initiation in the cop gang or something. So they have fun. Maybe that was the whole thing. But now India is making charges on this guy for running over that girl too. So see, all this stuff is just going to keep blowing up. The cops are going to find out. Yeah, you worked for the Yahtzees. You weren't working for the people. Yeah, but you had to notice that there's like that guy. You know, he had something in his soul that told him, you know, something's not right here. But all these other people, they even have a certain thing where they bend their badges to show, I don't know, so like teardrops on the fucking prisoners. I guess it's whacked, man. But all this is gonna keep coming out. All this medical tyranny. What I was saying about the, you know, brain dead thing. It's such a fucking huge diagnosis. Like being a nurse, like brain dead is something that they say. I mean, it's, I don't know, maybe like if it depends on your unit. I worked in the ER, I worked on the neuro, so I definitely heard brain dead, and a lot. And so to find out that it's made up just to get those organs, boy, we need those organs. What the fuck are we doing with all the goddamn organs? Like, what in the holy hell? And another thing too is like where people getting all mad about the taxes and shit. They're spending our taxes. Our taxes go to the goddamn England. Our tax money goes directly. Follow that whole fucking thing. The IRS, the whole fucking thing. Follow it. It goes over to the Queen. The money that they are transferring around is, it's like, when you launder money, you have to have, it's like, they have to have something on the books. So when they're getting all this money from selling people and parts and all that, the stuff that they do, they have to have, you know, some way to get it on the books, and they're always just transferring it around to each other. It's not our money. Our money already got transferred over to the Queen. It already went into from a different direction. I mean, fuck, who knows how all, but it's all is just launder system. It's all just them transferring a bunch of money out and then just taking enough from us to keep us downtrodden, I think is the word. But, you know, but this is, you know, we're getting to see, so we're getting to change. But each person has to see things and make the changes themselves. You know, just like pulling free from the bills is a big thing. It's a big thing, you know, and don't think it wasn't a big thing to me. It is, but I, you know, I mean, I do have a brain injury and I am a little impulsive, so things are a little easier probably for some people. Some things I may overthink, but I may not overthink things that I should overthink, you know. It's like I took a risk, stopped paying, and, you know, we still got to see, you know, I'm hoping the banks, we're going to see some action today. I think that I think this week is for sure. Like the stuff that's going on, the rest, the stuff in the bank, their whole thing about and this is wacky too, because you see these people and they're like, oh, they've all signed this giant, the UN. Okay, the UN's gone bankrupt now. The UN is now signed onto this giant peace treaty with all this 14 other countries or something like that. The big peace treaty thing, and I don't know how the UN is involved in it. I just know the big peace treaty thing is about Nasara. And that is, if you don't sign the peace treaty, you don't get any gold. So you stay being poor, be a poor country if you're not going to stay in peace, because we're going into a time of peace. And so, confirmation, double confirmation. So but these people who are all like, oh, well, now they've signed this, now we're going to go under, and the UN's going to, run the world, and we're all going to be on these compliancy passports or whatever the fuck, be chipped and all this stuff, all the creepy ass, transhumanism shit that they were trying to do to just turn us into little robots because, we'll allow it. We'll do what we're told. And half the fucking people don't even know they have a goddamn soul anyways. So, are you taking something that they don't even know they got it? It's like you got this thing laying out in your front yard for a long time. You don't even know you got it, and someone goes by and takes it. Are you really lost anything? Okay, these people don't know they have a soul, and they don't acknowledge it. They just are so physical driven. That's why all of those certain drives are so physical, like perversion and eating, like all these different things. It's all of this physical, out of balance. But okay. So let me get back. I feel like I'm going all over the place. Because, okay, so back on the healing thing. Because if you go and you cut somebody out of your life, you just cut them out of your life. And, especially like in this instance. Okay, so my mom, she was the youngest, so, the divorce impacted her the most. Plus, her dad was so mean. This is what is so crazy about it. Her dad was so mean to her. She was always very strong-willed, and he does not appreciate that. And the other daughter, she's a real people pleaser. So she, she can do no wrong. The other one, she was always, would stand up to him all the time, ever since she was little. But she also had this other side where she would want to, she'd be out in the garage with them. She'd want to learn how to make this, learn how to do this. Or she'd be in the kitchen. She wanted to learn how to do this. She was the coolest kid. She was really cool, but she had some problems with her anger. But I felt like, it was kind of him, because he had problems with his anger. And so, she kind of reflected that, I felt like. But, so she had some problems. And then when him and I split and I was going out with other guys, and other guys, they always would consume me. I was consumed by people. But I had to, pull free. I had to, it was part of my stuff that I had to learn about. But so she, whatever was going on, and her anger and stuff, and she got in this fight with this one. It wasn't it was crazy. I don't even want to, because it's, I guess that isn't. Okay, so, because she was young, and he was the one I was only married to for a few months, and he was total alcoholic, go get cocaine, but he wouldn't leave. He wouldn't leave. No matter when I tried to split up with him, he would not leave. And so it was an ordeal for, I don't know, I think he was in our life for like a year and a half. And you would think this was their whole entire life. You would not even believe how I've heard about this year and a half. So much in my life. It is like, that is the only era that we've all lived, is this 1.5 year era. It's mental. And so, but she, she did not like him at all. And she went up and she hit him really hard across the face. And I think she was like 12. She could have been 13. No, maybe she was 14. Yeah, she had to be more like 14 or 15. That had to be more if she was 14 or 15. So I'm thinking I've got this crazy out of control child that is going around hitting men. I was like, fuck. I was like, you know, like I was a kid who was getting hit when I was a kid. Like, go and hit some grown ass person. Like, I have this weird thing. My dad's one friend, Dan Brown, he had this great big giant stomach. Huge stomach. And I have no idea why I went through this phase where I walk up and punch him in the stomach. I have no idea. Kids are weird. And so one of the times it set my dad off. My dad had a broken arm, so he decided he would just use his, what is the thing called that they put on the broken arm? The cast. He would just use the cast to just hit me. So to see somebody go up and hit this man, and then it's really kind of funny because she's like, what are you going to do about it? I mean, it's pretty like domestic violence, crazy household shit, but you know, to me, I've like got a lot going on now. Like, if there's this child going crazy with this drunk ass, coked out husband and needs to get the fuck out of my house. And so she comes up and she smacks him. And she's, what are you gonna do about it, Greg? And he's just like, you had to see it. I was seeing it across the room. She's tough, man. When she knocked him, his head hit him on this side of the head. This side went over and slammed into the wall and came back. And he didn't go fucking crazy and start punching her or anything. He just was like, don't you ever hit me again. And she did it again. She did it again. And you know, I'm telling her to get out of my room, telling him to get the fuck out of my house. I was having a dinner party that night, so there's company downstairs. It turned into the most chaotic fucking thing. I can't even tell you. It turned into a court thing, obviously. There was court involved and police and everything. So it got crazy. And, but so she went over to her dad's. She just started going over to her dad's. And then, you know, finally, by the time he left, it took her a while, then she came back, and then I started seeing some other person, and then they didn't get along. And so she just kept going back to her dad's. Every time I would say anything to her, she would run away and go to her dad's. And so then I'd tell her dad, you can't let her run away. She's got to have consequences. When she doesn't go to school and she skips school, she's got to have consequences. She's got to be grounded. You can't just let her just run away from home all the time. And but he was in a bad way. He was a drunk at the time. I don't know if he was sober for a few minutes of a couple of years. I don't know. It was probably quite a few years. But so that got nowhere. But anyways, you know, through that time she holds all this against me. And, you know, and yeah, I made some bad choices. I did some stupid stuff. I shouldn't have tried dating, apparently, when I was single. I should have waited until all my kids had moved out of the house before I even started trying to date. That is just extra problems. So, anyways, but all her resentment, but all the fights and stuff that she's had with her dad and the drunken stuff and stuff, that's all fine and dandy. But somehow I became this monster that has to be completely cut out of her life. And it's like, well, you know, that's up to you. I mean, if you want to cut me out of your life altogether. But to me, as far as I'm concerned, is that's a part of the healing. Is how do you know you're healed if you can't be around the person? If you can't be around the person, are you healed? Have you really let go of things? If you can't be around somebody who has done something that hurt you, have you forgiven them? Like, that is, I mean, what is healing? What is real healing? How is it? Like, Western medicine healing is just, you know, claim your victimization and cut all the bad people out of your life. But then it's like the boy in the bubble, emotional stagnation. You know what? You're only going to have yes men around you. Just anybody who's nice to me. Yeah, you can come. You can come. But you got to be nice. Don't hurt my feelings. You know, how is that like, I mean, I mean, everybody gets to choose like how they want to live their lives, you know. That doesn't make much sense to me. It seems like, I mean, just in the sense of like all these holidays now, they're all discussing these holidays. I mean, the daughter who's cut me out is sitting there crying because she's left out of the holiday. Well, she was left out because she was all angry at her other sisters, not talking to them. It had nothing to do with me. I wasn't even there. It's like they all get mad at each other and stop talking to each other. And so this is their little games. It doesn't have to do with me. And so, and I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck about going to goddamn Christmas. And I was trying to think of when I have gone to any of these things. I don't know. I can't even remember. I remember I sat there and knitted about, or crocheted about a zillion hats and scarves. I sent those all in the mail. And I was trying to think, was that last year? And then the year before, I did something else. Or I don't know. I can't keep up with the fucking time at all. But I don't think I've gone to any of these holiday things. And so, but you should be able to, if you're healed, you're going to all this counseling and stuff like that. And that's the other one too. The other daughter who I trigger all the time. I swear to God, every motherfucking thing that comes out of my mouth is a trigger to her. And I keep on trying to say, you shouldn't, if you are so triggered by everything I say, you're not healed. You've got something, you're not healed. And no, you just say things that make me mad. Oh my God, I don't understand. It's like this whole Western philosophy is whacked out, man. It's whacked. It's like, and how do you get people to see? Like yesterday, even in my fucking day that I was having of this going back over things and stuff, I was, is it gonna, everything I say to them about healing or any of that stuff, I'm obviously whacked out. And just like one of the things I said, and then I felt like the one daughter just like looked at the other one, the counselor one, like she has some strange ideas. It's like, what? How? The only reason you guys don't have these same strange ideas is you're cut off from your soul. You're cut off from your soul. You guys have all admitted it to me. You don't listen to it. You don't hear it talk. And you don't even for sure know if you have one. That could be something like that just crazy people think. And so you're not listening to that side of yourself. You don't know about the bigger picture and stuff. Because just coming in here and cutting people out of your life and being the victim, well, you got to keep away from all those narcissists. Well, those BPDs. And this one girl too, one that I see all the time on TikTok, and she's really taken on now that she was living out this whole breakup and then get back together, then break up again, and all this stuff being all out there through all this breakup, and well, no, we're madly in love, and then no, we hate each other. It's just very hot and cold, going back and forth, back and forth. And then they broke up, and now her videos are a bunch of her dancing and duetting. To me, I don't know, maybe I am just crazy, but to me, if a newly single girl is going and duetting cute guys and then dancing around in your swimming suit, you're trying to get something. It seems obvious to me. Like, oh, and you can't pretend like you're not. Like, that seems wacky. And, but then there was some video that she did and started crying and something about the BPD. And that is the thing, too, where these people, even that spiritual girl who's out there telling the star seed and the fucking, we're the chosen, we're the star seeds. And, what was I going to say? Oh, because of their diagnosis. They stay so hung up on their diagnoses. And then all these goddamn girls, these spiritual, they're the spiritual chosen. There are super leaders or something. And they all have like whacked out hair. There's this one, and she seems sweet as can be. She seems like she's really sweet, and she could, have a lot of really good, smart philosophy, like all of stuff. But she's got like freshly pink hair all the time. Like it's got to have constant chemicals going on there to keep this fresh pink. And sometimes it's got like a blue and a pink. It's got like all these crazy colors, tons and tons of makeup. Like, I mean, how I can't be the only one who keeps seeing all the videos about how all the makeup is so full of poison. It is causing so many sicknesses through the makeup and the hair products. Hair products, it's so full of fucking poison, and then they're so spiritual, but they don't understand that this is their antenna, that this is important. Like they just burn it off, like decorate it. It's like this has a role. And you just, but to me, it's like you can't market yourself as a super spirit and don't even have awareness of that. Like you should understand. And there's more stuff about that too. What was that I had just seen? Oh yeah, because in World War II, Vietnam War, this is Vietnam War, that they needed trackers, because those people had put out all these mines and stuff. Like it was a very jungle kind of war. It was intense, that war. And it was all unnecessary, of course, but, what do these fucking elites got to do? Take over a goddamn place. So they, in order to have these trackers, they would use all these Native American, I don't even like, they're fucking native to this land. So, and America stole it. So I don't want to call them Native Americans because that's some bullshit. They shouldn't have to be called American anything. They were native to the land, whatever their tribes were. I don't know what all their different ones. It took it from everybody. And so the, okay, let me get back to where I was at. So the Native American, the land. Okay, so they went, they got them all in their war. They got them all to be soldiers. And so they took all these native people in to be, and they made them be trackers. But all the ones that they cut all their hair off, they couldn't track. They couldn't feel the earth's vibration anymore. They couldn't do it. And they had to call in all these ones that had long hair. And so the long braid, and so they would wear a long braid, and the braid would had electromagnetic guidance thing in it. So then they let all of those soldiers grow their hair back out. So because they saw the need for the hair, but it's also Hitler. It was a whole thing about that. He was using all of these women. They were called the Vril Society, which is another weird thing because Vril keeps coming up all over the place. But it was VRIL Society of these women who were psychics, and they all had really long hair. And it had to do, because your hair is your antenna. And it just picking up on the electromagnetic field around you. That's why I thought that the hair that grows out is fucking badass. Like that hair is fucking cool as shit. Like I can't, but I think that's a part of our societal, trying to crush those people away from who they were. Because back in the 70s, they all had giant afros. They were cool as shit. And then all of a sudden it was like, no, let's start doing all these treatments and all this stuff, making them trying to have like they have hair that does different things and stuff. And it was like, I mean, there was some girls that were already doing that anyways. I don't know if they do some sort of curling iron things or something to put a lot of grease and then bend their hair to do it. So there's already girls doing that in the 70s, but the big old afros and stuff, that would be picking up on all that. Like, I'm sure they probably, Tina Darty had one. Remember Tina Darty? She was the badass of the school. She was the one that you didn't want to go in the bathroom with her. She was an angry girl. and she was big, and her afro was giant. She probably could hear you thinking when you walked past. She knew everybody's mad at her, everybody's scared of her. She probably felt it. She could hear it loud and clear. She heard everyone's thoughts as they walked by. That is the thing with it, that you pick up, and then it's how you perceive, how you generate the energy, how it processes through you. And so it can come in as pictures, it can come in as sounds, it can come in as voices, it can come in all different things. It's all this energy out around us. And I've seen too recently, now more people are being able to pick up a plug and hold it and turn a lamp on just by holding a plug with their hand. And let's see, what was the other one? There was another thing about the energy around us and the communication and stuff. I can't remember. There was some other video I saw, something that was cool. I can't remember. And I just saw this thing. There's this, I don't know, it looks like quicksand, weird things happening to the ground with all of their, I don't know, their chemicals and all the water and stuff that they're doing. Like, I don't even know what it's going to look like outside this morning out here. It's been pouring and pouring and pouring all night for fucking 3 days. And then it's showing like another 4 or 5 days. And it's still not saying anything about this big storm. Oh, yeah. Okay, so I was looking at the doomsday map because I was really trying to figure out this, of going there and looking for a place. And really think, because now I really have this strong motivation is, to go move to a different place, a safer place or something. And so I was looking at the doomsday map. And so it looks like Vancouver's even going to be gone. So all up here where I'm at is going to be gone. I just could not find anywhere where it seemed like it was still going to be there. There's the way that it's shaped up here. Then it's like way over where it's going to be. So like half of Washington State's going to be gone. And, or at least, not 2/3, but more than a third, but it's more than a third, but not quite a half. So, and not 2/3, but it's a big part, and it's the part where there's so many people that live. And so, it curves down, and then it goes down like the Cascades. So it's going down, and then it goes down like around Mount Rainier, which I don't know, maybe that is all the Cascades, because the Cascades go up into Canada. And so then I was like, oh, so then I looked in to see how far is Yakima from there. And so I was like, oh, so this is going to be like, if I was in Yakima, which it doesn't show that there's going to be lakes, but that is like a valley, I would think, compared to the mountains, because it's down. So, but maybe that's what keeps the water from getting across and going. So that would show for sure then the water's coming from the ocean, not coming from the sky. Because in the map, when you look at the doomsday map, it seems like we would see a lot more big lakes around in valleys and stuff, but it doesn't show that. So it looks like the water comes up from the land, from the water. Like the water's just going to move up, like something's going to raise the water, which, the ice wall going down could be the thing. Maybe it melting this whole time was really our energy was melting away, what's binding us, because extraterrestrial actually means extra land. So that's what they were trying to hide, was the land beyond the ice wall. Because they want us to, they want us to be limited. They want us to think in limited versions of ourselves. They want us to be small, dependent, victims. And, but you got to want to not be a victim, so, okay, so let me think back where I was again. So now I have extraterrestrial and the land. Okay, so the water coming up, and so it shows the mountain range going. And so that is kind of like the mountain range is kind of like the boundary. So then I was like, well, fuck. Like, how high up is water going to go? Because these over here are fucking huge mountains. Huge. And so I looked at Oregon and California. And so California, it looks like it's going to have a few islands down to where kind of, I think, the mountain range maybe down by the desert, down by Death Valley or something, like somewhere in there it would be a big mountain range somewhere. It could be by LA too. It's hard to for sure. Like, we need a map to overlay it to really get the idea of where. And but so there was a few little islands, but so, I don't know how much it would change the elevation, because they won't seem like mountains if the water's way up. It'll just seem like an island. So, and I don't know how the terrain will be, like, this is so strange. It's so weird when the landscaping's changing. It's like the room's changing. Like, you're sitting in your room and you really want change, you really want it to change, but then it just changes itself. You don't have to do anything. It's going to change itself. So, so then in Oregon, mostly Oregon was underwater, except for this one corner up towards like where Washington State is, over like by Idaho. And so that kind of looked like a big mountain range. It must be over there. And so then I was thinking about some of the mountain ranges I drove through. And they were all fucking so huge. Because I did all that drive through Oregon, through the mountains, through California, through the mountains, back up through California, all through Washington, through the mountains. Like, I've done all those drives. And they're intense, man. They're fucking intense. And so when the water comes up, and they're high. So, fuck, I don't know how high that would be, but it would definitely not be like I'd be living in Yakima and be seaside. No, it would be like you'd have to go all through this one part, which I would think it's going to probably turn kind of jungly everywhere. We're going to go kind of more rainforesty or something. But then, and I don't know about rainforesty, but it's going to be more tropical, is from what I have gathered. And so it'd probably be nice, but it definitely wouldn't be like you just be able to go out and go to the ocean. And and who even fucking knows? Like, God, if we are going to realize like there's other beings and shit living in the ocean, like, are we all going to live in unity with all of the sea creatures? Like, are we going to keep away from the ocean? That's their land, or that's their reality. Yeah, it's weird. But so it seems like the mountains are going to become our land. So I was looking on the regular map at this land, trying to figure out like, well, where should I buy a place then? And it's an all national forest. So it seems that all the national forests are going to become where we end up living. Like, it's going to, because go and look at the things, because I looked at some more places and it looked like it's mountain ranges. So mountain ranges are going to be kind of become like a perimeter or something. It's going to be different. Like when Dolores Cannon said that she found it suspicious, because she was I think she was from the Appalachian already or something. But so she moved out there and got a place up in the mountains and was living out there. And she said all of a sudden there started being all these generals and shit that were retiring, and they were all buying high up on the mountain. And that's when she got suspicious. And that's when she went to look up about the maps and stuff. And that's when she shared about the Doomsday Map. Only it wasn't called the Doomsday Map then. It was called the Naval Projected Map. And then they released it on Forbes as the Doomsday Map. But, it's it was the military's projected map before that, which they use their looking glass and shit to get their projections. So I think it's accurate, especially as things are going. And I still think There's something weird about all of this stuff with all these people. Not just that, they're bringing in 8,000 Venezuelan guys. And I just saw somebody do this video over the Venezuelan prison. Well, I don't know why anybody leave that place. Well, I guess they were getting kicked out of it because they had taken over the prison and turned it basically into a resort. They had their families living there. They had movie theater. No, I don't remember if they had a movie theater. They had a restaurant. They had a dance club. They had a separate little housing out scattered around the mountain. They had all sorts of shit. They had made it into their own little resort, and then the government was trying to take it back from these big badass cartel leader people. And so they shipped them over here. So we have these really, really bad people who they were like, well, you can't have this prison, but you can go over and take over America. So shipped them over. So we got those people over here. And those people are the ones that like to skin people alive kind of people, I think. So, you gotta stay safe, see in your house. Oh, and another thing too, if you're like me and you were always like, didn't have guns and stuff, don't forget about aerosols. Like bug spray, if you have a can of bug spray, oven cleaner, any of that shit. Somebody breaks into your house and you spray them, well, I mean, they're blind forever. It's not getting over. You don't get over it like bear spray or pepper spray or something. No, you spray oven cleaner or bug spray in somebody's face, they're done for. So just keep that in mind. If you're fighting for your life, you don't have to have weapons that they can take out of your hands. You start spraying. As soon as they bust in your house, you'll start spraying. And get Stella in the other room, just start spraying. Well, Stella would fucking attack them too, but that would get her, I'm sure, stabbed or shot or something. I think these people enjoy a slow murder. I don't think they're going to go fast. They're going to bring in weapons of guns and shit. No, they're going to bring in machetes and horrible things. And don't forget who supplied it. Our lovely government. They're giving but all the things I have been seeing, the flags don't have fringe. What I've been seeing, there's no fringe on the flags. And all the signs, there's so much stuff with the Nisara Gasara. I still am feeling like we're really on that timeline of what they're saying now is October, by October 10th or something. So we'll see. We should start seeing stuff this week for sure. If, on the money thing. And then if that's what they're trying to stop too, is that because they're trying to keep us on their money thing. And so they're trying to stop it. So there definitely will be attacks. There definitely will be shit go down. And it all depends on, destiny. There's nothing we can do about that. Like nobody knows where or whatever is going to happen. Like right now, it's just like so tense. It just keeps raining and raining. They're going to bring this big old fucking windstorm in. And every time when the wind starts going and the trees are just going, and I go and look, it's like it says 10 miles per hour. And I'm like, fuck, god damn, this is going to be fucked. It's giving me a heart attack right now. As those things are swaying, they are way too, they're all wet. There are so many dead ones. They bring in 100 fucking mile an hour wind. There's going to be some fucking big ass trees going down. It's like, fuck, God, it's just horrific. Now it's like, God, I just, but I didn't have that big push to leave. Everything has, but all of our lessons, like we don't know what our lessons are until we get the whole thing. So, look, I don't know. I definitely feel like I really want to move out of here and stuff. My daughter was sending me things of even like campers and stuff. Maybe I'll do something like that. I don't know. I mean, if they're going to start, supposedly they're going to start snow this week. The 27th, I think, is going to be a snowstorm in the mountains, like in Canada, so right above me. And if it snows in those mountains, I imagine it's going to probably snow in these same ones that are with it. So there's going to be snow around, and then hopefully that will melt and be a fluke, and then we'll still wait like a couple more months. But fuck, god damn, it's just like, oh. So whatever, if I can get, I don't know, I just feel like something is going to happen, something's going to give, something is going to shake things up. And maybe it is, everything just is going to be whacked out storms. We're all going to just have to go out and start caravanning. And then we're going to have to cross across all these national forests that are full of portals and shit. All these portals, and going through to cross all of these forests to get out of here. And yeah, no, I don't. This stuff just seems so wacky. Going into winter, surely that's got to be a spring or summer thing, caravanning out of here. Like, I don't see how we could cross these mountains without everybody dying on them, walking through these blizzards and shit. Like, no fucking way. No way. They close the road. They close some of the roads. Like, there's no way we'd be able to walk across that. But everything has got an exact time. Everything's got an exact plan. So everything, like, there's nothing to stress out about, even though it seems like there's a lot. It seems like there's plenty to stress out about, but, you know, it's all by perfect design. And if you are meant to leave during this, then you will leave. And I still feel like a lot of the most traumatic things are going to be hitting the people who are asleep. Like, what is the point of just re-traumatizing the people who are awake? Re-traumatizing. It's like, once you wake up and you start pulling out of that energy and you start seeing that you have some control over your attitude, so you can change the energy, change your attitude about it, then I don't think you're pulling in the same traumas. But, you know, I mean, we'll see. We'll see how this is all going to go down. You know, it's all a bunch of words until we see the results. So once we get through the whole experience, then we will know more. But I'm telling you, on the healing thing, that is not healing to have to cut everybody out of your life, to have to cut all these different people out of your life. You know, what is healing is to heal your own pain and trauma, to forgive, to see, you know, the people weren't purposely trying to hurt you. They've got their own problems. They've got their own issues. So to find a place in your heart for forgiveness, that releases your entanglement of pain and suffering, anger that you have with them. It releases it. When you can forgive them and let it go, then they don't have a bind to you energetically. And so because like my daughter's got this total bind, you know, I'm affecting her without even being near her. And so you got to see in your healing is that, I mean, because it is like trying to tell somebody who doesn't have a soul how to heal. They have a different routine, a different way of looking at it. So when I'm talking about it from your soul, because it's your soul's perspective. It's your soul. What are you doing here? What, all of that kind of stuff. And your soul has a bigger purpose. It has a deeper meaning. There's bigger reasons why the things happen the way they happen. And there's more to the story. And so, yeah, I look at it very different on the healing. And on the healing, and then besides the fact that the generational, you know, that a lot of the lessons don't just go through our life, they go through multiple lives. Like, we're associated with certain lessons with people further back. Like, we were all like learning certain lessons together, and we all you know, hold a piece of the lesson. We all are shifting things by learning and growing. And so, you know, you want to be a part of that. You want to be a part of the growth, the production, the creation. You're not just like, no, I'm going to sit back. Somebody hurt me. Now I'm scared. I'm vulnerable. I can be hurt. I can feel pain. I need protection. I've got to keep myself safe. You know, you wall yourself in. instead of seeing the bigger picture. Yeah, I'm going to get hurt sometimes. But it's all a part of the lessons. It's all a part of what I'm here to grow, what I'm here to do, what I'm here to accomplish, who I'm here to become. And you keeping yourself walled off and protected is, it's like that boy in the bubble, emotional stagnation. His was medical, but it reminds me so much of just that, keeping yourself in a place that seems protected, but it is I think it ended up hurting him in the long run. But I don't know. The it was like the people when the sickness first started, when people were going and putting themselves in a complete bubble suit and trying to wall themselves off from people. See, they're cutting themselves off from all of the germs, but you need to have some of the germs, so you get everybody's germs, so that you are building up tolerances to the germs. So then when you cut yourself off, so you put yourself in a bubble so that you don't get anybody else's germs, then your immune system becomes depleted. That is why when the colonizers came in with their sickness of smallpox or whatever, they wiped out an entire tribe. And it wasn't like these people could be carriers. You can have a sickness, it doesn't affect you, but it affects somebody who, because they have never had the buildup to the germs. So, when there was all the sickness and stuff, I would purposely, like where people would be like, well, there was all this arguing about that. And to me, it was like, no, you purposely don't wear one. You want to get, it's like the chicken pox thing, you want to go out there and get all these little bits of germs. You want all these little bits of germs, so your body is in there just working away, building up your immune system so that you don't get sick. And then they get all these people out there who are trying to hide from them, which you can't hide from the ones that are going to make you sick. The viruses and stuff could go right through there, and then you're holding in all of this bacteria and these spores and getting all that stuff in your lung. Like, I'm sure there's so many people they probably have got cancer, lung disease, all sorts of shit going on from the people who were wearing those and dirty ones all the time and stuff. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. So when I did that one video and I was talking about the brain dead situation, and just, it's upsetting. And somebody else came in to my comment and they said, yeah, that they just found out that their Sid's baby, they just put all that together, and they are very just distraught. And that they are, to realize, they just got their shots, and then so there was a whole thing. She was, but so I said, there's all this realization, all this people realizing all these different things is going to be, I think the medical one is going to really, really, that's going to get the most anger, I think, the most reaction. That's why I have said, I think hospitals, doctors' offices, doctors, what are those things called? Pharmacies, all that stuff. I think there's going to be targeted events that are going to happen. People are going to be so angry, so angry. It's horrible. Just find out the brain dead thing, and then to just have somebody die from that a couple days before that. And then the same thing what they did. Yeah, what they should be doing is apparently, I guess, Narcan the people because they get the opioids out or whatever. But there's something else too that they need to do. But then they need a detox. They need a detox. Just like when they fucking flash froze those people, and then they just go in and they just take these people quietly in the night, all these frozen people off all the bodies off the streets. You cannot fucking say somebody is dead. You have to thaw them out. You can take somebody who has I just saw a video, and this woman had a baby. They said the baby was dead, and they sent the baby down to the morgue. And so, she was all sad and distraught. And then the next day, so like 12 hours later, she went down, her and her husband went to see the baby, say their goodbyes or whatever. And they got the baby out of the freezer and stuff, and the baby started moving. And the baby just came right back to life. The baby was saved because it was put into the refrigerator, and it came back to life. And but that's what I'm saying. That's what I was saying when they flash froze all those people. You can't call him. You can't put that on their birth certificate. Like, I guess they can do whatever they want. I mean, they do whatever they want. But yeah, you have to medically thaw somebody out and try and revive them. And then if you can't revive them, then you would say that they passed from freezing to death. But you can't just leave them as an ice cube and didn't revive them, didn't try, because you put people in a frozen state to save them. It doesn't make any sense, especially flash frozen. I swear to God, they took all those people to a lab. Swear to God. Those people are in some sort of lab being studied or some shit, or being chopped up or being DNA or whatever the fuck. Something shady. And so, anyways, they should, with all of these confirmation, all these overdoses coming in, is, detox them and then just send them home to heal. They're doing things to cause problems with their brains and then saying that their brain, just to take their parts. And they didn't even want my son-in-law's parts. And I don't know what point they had decided that, if they had already gone through the protocol, because they got to follow the protocol, So they got to do, and I'm sure like not every family gives the parts, but they do put a lot of pressure on them. Let's turn a tragic into a miracle for someone. We'll make someone's day better, even though yours is, but let's turn this around. What would your son want us to do? Just fuck with these people. That's a horrible time. But anyways, but on the whole thing with the healing, I keep going back to that, is the whole thing about the healing is if you're really doing your healing, then you should be able to be around the people. You may have to set boundaries, which is another part of your healing. It was so funny yesterday too. One daughter was complaining about something, and then I was talking about something. I was still whining about, some last weekend or whatever weekend that was, and it was some stuff. And so she's, well, you just don't realize about boundaries. You got to set boundaries. You just don't know about boundaries, Mom. So all morning I keep thinking, so all the stuff where she was talking about where she needed to have boundaries in her life, she didn't notice that. But boy, anything on mine, I need to have boundaries. So I need to tell somebody who is just, I don't know, pretending like, I don't know. There's people you can act like you're not doing something. Then if the person calls you out on something you pretend like you're not doing, then it is like I know when to have my boundaries and I know when to not have my boundaries. I'm fine. I know, I've learned about boundaries. Yeah, I went through the first part of my life with none, but through my healing, I have learned about boundaries. And, but that is my decision over when and how I use them. And that still gives me the right to have a right to complain about something that somebody does to me. If they do something, but I don't want to be confrontational. It doesn't seem like it needs to go that far. It just is like more of a, is this something that I want to participate in anymore? Is this someplace I want to go? And I may get over it. I may just get over it. It may have just been my mood or something. Maybe it was his mood. Maybe there was just too many people around and he needed to go back to, some safety thing of, us being a couple or something. And maybe, I don't think I was reading stuff wrong, but there's a lot of things. There's a lot of different things going on. And I just don't want to say some of the stuff because I don't want to hurt people's feelings and be like, well, you keep on giving me things. You keep on hitting on me. You keep on, and, it's not going to happen. And so I don't know. I think I can handle my boundaries. But it's just funny when somebody is telling you about them and the story they just finished was all about them not having their own. And so anyways, but the healing and stuff, we all have to learn to set our boundaries. And it's a very gray area. It is, but this is a shifting. This is a shifting. This is a reestablishment. So things are not going to be as awkward as they are now. Like, we're going to get into a flow. This is breaking free from how things were. Very toxic, very controlled, very structured. And so now we're moving out of that. And so it's very awkward. It's uncomfortable. It's, it's a lot of mystery through this transition. But once we get into it and we get into the flow, where more people are healed and more people it's just it will have a flow. It won't be, but we still have this period of time that is all about the healing and growing and transition, the transference. And so, in this time, don't get caught up and be thinking, like, it's all going to be all sweet and good and stuff. No, it's going to be a lot of trauma, a lot of horrible stuff. There's still a big thing coming that, a lot of us can lose a lot of people. I mean, there's definitely people out there saying that it's going to be a certain group that are all of a sudden going to all be gone. And I hope not. I hope not. Like, fuck. Like, this is, and I hope that there's people who are still going and taking them. Like, they keep convincing people to take them. And I don't know. Whatever is come, at least I think that's close. So we can, finally have it happen so we can get through it instead of keep wondering what's to come. And it's so wacky, too, is I guess on the 23rd, that there was a lot of people who thought the world was going to end or something. I'm not even sure what all of, there's so many different videos and so many people who thought it was the end of the world and stuff like that. And so then yesterday was all these people, I guess, making videos, making fun of the people because the world didn't end and they are so stupid. And I don't even know. I didn't see any of the videos. And the ones that were people kept saying what was going to happen the 23rd and stuff, I just kept going past it because I don't think it's the end of the world. And at the end of their world, the end of the financial, yeah, that could have very well have ended. I mean, there's definitely arrests and stuff. So, yeah. But anyways, all these people, I guess, are making fun of these people who were, oh, you guys think you feel something coming and stuff. And, but that's the thing, is these people who make fun, they don't realize it's still coming. It's still coming. Whatever's coming is still coming. Just because it didn't happen last weekend doesn't mean, oh, it's never going to happen. That's what I don't get is like, what do you guys think is going on here? Like, everything is shifting. The world is shifting. We're in a reset. We're in a complete changing of the ages. This is a complete changing of the guards. It's a complete changeover. And not everybody's going to go. And so, yeah, this is a big thing that is happening. And these people, like, did they just sit back and think, oh, nothing's going to happen? And then all these other people, oh, something's about to happen. It must be this day. It's going to be this day. And then nothing happens. And then these people all see, you guys are so stupid. And the other people are just like, oh, well, I don't know. I don't know if they feel shame or feel stupid, or if they just are like, something's still coming. Just wait. And this feeling's not gone. Because these people over here who keep making fun, it's like, you're the ones that are cut off. You guys should be feeling something's coming. Everybody should be feeling something's coming. Because something's coming. Something's coming. Something big. This is the end of is like the end of an era. It's a complete changeover. So yeah, it's big what's happening. And for the micro macro, for all of us who are going through this, we came here for it. We came here to ride this out. Whatever parts that we came here to play, we came here to play them. And so we need to focus on those, focus on what we came here for. And to me, it's quite obvious when you're leaving a very toxic era and you're going into a very loving one that you got to do some healing. You got to do some work on yourself. You got to, and if you're not capable of seeing yourself and doing that work on yourself, then probably the new era of age of love isn't for you, because that's all about unity. It's all about forgiveness. It's all about coming together. And so, you have an opportunity here to prepare yourself. And if you can't, or you don't, or you won't, or whatever, that's your soul's journey. That's your soul's thing. I think the people who are here for it, they feel the drive. They feel, they feel that they need to heal. They feel like they're looking at things and seeing things differently. They feel they want more for themselves. Like there's a shift in the people as they are moving towards this new era that are a part of that. And then there's other shifts happening, because it's not all just about that. It isn't just like, winner, because it's not the only way in, isn't through the trauma. It's like the trauma, going through the trauma to get into the new age is bringing forth the history. Like there's a purpose to it. There's a purpose to the going through all this to get to the other side. They're bringing forth the stories. They're bringing forth the history. They're the seeders. They're the new ones. It's the new world that is being brought forward. And so those people are bringing it forward. So they have big roles. Like people have big roles. When people are saying like, I feel like I'm here for something big. Yeah, it is big. This is a completely rewriting the world. It's going to be really big, and it's going to be all on this micro macro. It can be on all different kind of parts or stages, or everybody's going to have these different roles. They were here for that, but I think that the people feel it. They feel like, I'm here for something important. I'm here for something big, because it is. But it's also going to be hard, because we're going to go through a lot of hard stuff, like watching people be killed and stuff is hard. Watching people suffer and be in pain and stuff is hard. But those are the stories. These are the stories that bring forth our history, that bring forth where we came from and how we get to where we are. And so these things have to play out. And there's all sorts of big roles. There's heroes. There's people who are going to lead communities. There's all sorts of things. There's people here who are innovative, bringing in new information. So there's a lot going on. And but the people who are leaving, they're not doing anything wrong either. Like there's other places. There's other, people came in to play roles. There's other places that they have, other places to be. There's all sorts of things. Like the soul world, our soul world is a very busy world. There's a lot going on, and it's busier than this place. So, and there's a lot more going on. So it's not, like there's not like this, like I think people get in their minds like this is all there is or something. This is far from all there is. This is a speck in the sand. This is nothing. This is, but what's going on here right now, and this is this big ascension period, this big evolution, this big change, our minds opening. That is, that's big. This is big. This is, this changing of the ages, this cosmic, cosmic restructure. That's big. It is like this huge universal thing. Like when they say all these beings from all over are watching us. You go out in the skies, you can see We're being watched. We're always being watched. There's watchers and stuff. And it's funny too, like we can think, oh, well, we're real tiny and they're giant. It's all a projection. It's all a projection. We're not tiny and them giant. We're just the same. We're in a picture. We're in a movie. And so you got all these faces up watching it, and we're players in it. We're the stars of the show. So they're watching us. And so we're the little, like if it was a stage, we're the little people on stage, and then you got all the audience. So this is huge what's happening. And it's a big cosmic event. And it's another thing weird too, where I see like spiritual people say they're spiritual people and then say, but I don't believe in ascension and stuff. It's just like, what? I don't understand what people look into, like with your spirit. But there's all levels of spirituality. Like there's people who say they're spiritual, who I would think if you say you're spiritual that you should be living your life through your soul. But then there's people like me who studied about stuff, who found it interesting and looked into it and read books about it and stuff, so was interested in spiritual stuff. So I guess there's all different levels. But anyways, if you go read and stuff more about it, yeah, this is like it's an evolution, it's a change, it is a growth period, it's a big growth, it's an expansion. So the ascension is like an expansion, and it's those certain souls that like everybody will have some type of an ascension. Everything is ascending, but it all depends on, how you work it. Do you work it to your benefit? How far you can expand? How far you can ascend? Like if they're going to shoot everybody out of a cannon, and everybody's going to go to the same place. So you're just going to go shoot to the same place, or are you going to go far beyond? That's up to you. It's up to each person, so you can just ride there's people who think they're just riding out this ascension. They think that the earth's doing the work for them. It seems like a lot of chosen people and starseeds and stuff think that they just need to buckle up and ride these waves of, but the waves are coming in and the communication to help you heal. But these people have all fried their hair off and then cut that. I don't know. It's strange. The whole thing is just strange. Like these people who say that they're so spiritual, but are they listening to their spirit? What are they listening to? What is the spiritual information that they're getting? So anyways, to me, I believe, to go into it deeply, obviously. And so, that's what I'm here for. That's what I'm about. Like I was studying about this stuff a long time ago. It wasn't just like all of a sudden I woke up and started studying spirituality. This has been my thing for a long time, since I was young. So I don't know, there's all levels, and you look into things and understand them more. But yeah, it's ascension. It's like it's a growth. It's like to say, I don't believe in seasons. I don't believe trees grow. I don't believe that, it's like everything has growth. Everything is expansion. Nothing stays the same. Energy is always in changing and moving. That's why I said it, up there in the heavens, it's a busy place. Like it's not like this visual thing coming on right here is this, I don't know, like a chakra thing with the person sitting there, meditating, but all these lights and colors coming. That's what the universe is like. It's just energy and lights and inner colors and forms and realities and everything. And so but we're in this movie picture, we're in this game, and then all these players think this is all there is. This is it. And then the people who run the game have told you that's all there is. But you've got to figure for yourself. You got to see. You got to think for yourself and not be held back. And that is what their whole thing with diagnoses and stuff, but just the way that they control the healing and stuff, and to tell people, cut people out of their lives, don't go around these people. And then how you see how that structures them into these groups so they can get them into these groups and control them. Is always getting these groups so that they can control them. But the healthiest way to be is to do your healing, to go in to recognize the things that you hold on to that burden you, that your pain and suffering, your traumas, go in and be releasing them. Whatever the traumas are, if you've got some horrendous, murderous father, you don't have to go and be around him. I mean, you've got to know for yourself. But then if you've just got, a dad who says something that you don't like and he drives you crazy, to just cut somebody out of your life for that is going to make you more immature. It's going to stagnate your growth. It's not going to hurt. It's only going to hurt you. You start cutting people out of your life, it's going to make you emotionally immature. It's very strange how they talk about emotional maturity, but then they push emotional immaturity. So, as you're healing, don't just think cutting people out of your life is the best way to approach it. You want to go the next step, of setting yourself boundaries, knowing when to walk away, not being passive aggressive, not being toxic and doing stuff like that, but to actually become who you think you are, patient, kind, considerate, who are you? You get to decide. But I don't think very many of us are really somebody who just wants to cut everybody out of their life and just have a bunch of yes men who sit and worship us all day long. That would become disgusting and toxic. I mean, most of us, I think most of us want a challenge. We want a little banter. We want somebody who excites us, not somebody who just everything you say, yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. So anyways, now I've been talking a long time, and I was thinking what I'll do about the live thing maybe is once a week, like on a Saturday or Friday night or something. If people want me to do the live thing, then just like leave a comment of like a time or a day that works good for you, and I'll try and organize something. But it seems like once a week seems like good enough for, to, it can be a Friday night live party, get together and everybody talk in the comments and stuff. So anyways, but you guys can tell me. But today I'm going to try and probably go out. I got to get some cottage cheese or something for her stomach. Like, fuck, I cannot believe this. Again, listen to those theta waves. I'm telling you, my brain is like melted or something. And when she wakes me up, I can't get out of it. And I'm just like a zombie or something. But every hour and a half or 2 hours has to go out. I can't believe that she hasn't gone out. But she just had gone out right before I started. So I'm sure any minute she'll probably be jumping up and ready to go out. So anyways, I don't know. If I find out that the banks have gone down today or something, then I'll probably be so excited. I'll come back on, talk some more this afternoon. But I probably won't go live just because it is kind of distracting too. Because then it kind of keeps making me think about what I'm talking about more. Because like you look and somebody's sitting here listening and they're have an expectation. How do I meet their expectation? Like this, and you can just turn it off. Well, they can turn it off there too, but then I got to watch. Here, you can be like, oh, I don't like what she's talking about. She annoys me. And turn it off, and I don't have to know anything about it. But when I'm live, then it's a lot more... it takes your mind off of what you're trying to focus on. And it's one thing though, when everybody's in there talking and asking questions and talking to each other and stuff, then it's, you're not thinking about that. You're talking about the conversation. So then that's fun. But to just talk, I like doing it like this way better than to just go on live. So anyways, I will talk to you later. Bye.